Welcome to SORMAG Podcast, the Writer's Cafe, where we discuss the life of a writer. This is episode 11, Books to Help Writers, Part 3. I'm LaShonda Hoffman, your host. Today is the third part in a series about books writers should have in their library. Today you will be learning about e-publishing. Our guest today is Michelle Stimpson. She will be discussing her book, The 21 Days Publishing Plan, from first draft to first sale in 3 weeks or less. Please welcome Michelle. I can't talk, Welcome, Michelle.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I actually ordered this book because I was on my journey to publishing, and I got stuck on the editing part, so that's where I'm stuck right now. I didn't get to my 21 days, but that was okay. I hadn't budgeted for the editor, so I had to save for that. So I highly say, before you get this book, to budget yourself before you go down, because you probably can do it in 21 days if you have a budget.
Right. I would agree.
So please tell us, why did you choose to write this book?
Well, I've been writing for about 10 years now and self-publishing successfully for about 2 years. Mm-hmm. And inevitably, when I tell anybody what I do, they'll say, "Oh, I have a cousin who's writing a book," or "I've been thinking about writing a book, and can you tell me everything you know?" And I can't do that in like 5 minutes. So this book was a compilation of like everything I know about self-publishing in one huge document, because people would ask me, "Well, what about can you recommend an editor?" I would say, "Get an editor," and people would be like, "Where?" So I had to just kind of pull all of the resources together in a spot, and it's not information that you can't find if you look high and low all over the internet for 20 hours. But then you still have those 20 hours that you need to put into it. So this is just really a compilation of what it takes to publish a book after you've finished writing it, because that's the first part of the book, is to write it. But after you have finished that first draft, how do you go from that to, bam, I'm published?
Yes. So who do you think this book is perfect for then?
I think it's perfect for people who want to self-publish or who want to explore the option of self-publishing, to find out, well, what are the steps that I would need to take? And do I want to hire somebody else, or do I actually want to learn this and manage the project myself? So a lot of times when people are looking for a publisher or someone to kind of help with the self-publishing process, you're going to find people who will say, well, I'll help you do this, but it's going to cost you another $2,000. And I hear so many people with their horror stories of how much money they've paid to have a book published, and like nothing ever comes of that book, and there's no marketing behind it. There's none of that. And so I'm just like, you don't need to spend $2,000. Here's $299 to kind of point you in the right direction. And like you said, there's still money to be paid for a proofreader and for someone to make the cover, but it's not nearly costing what it used to cost to publish a book.
And that's what I found helpful about your book, is you were honest. A lot of times when I first started writing and self-publishing, and people were talking about self-publishing, it was very expensive, and so I was always on the fence about it, because I was like, oh, I can't do this, that's too much. And, you always want that advance. That's what you've been drilled into you the whole time you're writing, is, oh, when you get your big advance, you're going to do this and you're going to do that. And, with self-publishing, it was like that. You was the advance. You was putting your money up for yourself, And I remember once this in my writers group I was in, this guy came and told us to take $2,000 and take the person who had the best book in our group and publish them. And we did not listen to him.
Wow.
And I laugh at the one guy that he ended up he publishes his own books, H.D. Campbell, and he goes, we were laughing about a year, probably 10 or 15 years later, and he goes, LaShonda, why didn't we listen to him? And I go, I don't know, because both of us would have been published. H.D. is published. I'm not. I'm still on the fence. And so, but I think about it, when you talk to people, everybody has a different thing. Everybody does it differently, and it's the same process, but everybody, you have these horror stories, and it scares you off from it. You know,
right.
And that's what I appreciate about you. I remember reading a post on your Facebook page, and somebody had said something about how much they paid when they published, and you broke it down completely to them. And I was like, okay,
right.
see, this is what I'm looking for.
Right. And
how much do I need?
Right. Well, and I will say this. What is this, 2014? Okay, so 4 years ago, you would have probably needed to pay $2,000 to get a book published.
Mm-hmm.
And I had paid $2,000 to get a book published when it was that expensive. And I didn't, so there was this big, huge learning curve, plus it was going to cost me a lot of money. So I just was like, I don't even want to do all that. I'll just pay somebody else to do it. But really, Kindle, you know, just changed the entire game. And so what you might have had to pay 4 years ago, you don't need to pay that much for now. It's kind of like when, you know how technology is. The first one that comes out is really expensive. And then after we work out the bugs and people figure out other ways to do it, it becomes less and less. So technology has taken us there. You know?
Now, I'm curious, do you just do e-books or do you do print books too?
I do my print books through CreateSpace. So at some level, it's all digital. For the most part. I do have a couple of books that are still with traditional publishers, but I don't have a contract for any more books with traditional publishers, and I probably won't have another one.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So you like the being in charge of your publishing?
It's not so much about being in charge as it is reaping the benefits of all the hard work. I mean, it's a lot of hard work to write a book, and to give 90% of that away. At this point in my career, this doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, I'm thankful that I started off with a major publisher because that is how, you know, people found out about me and my work. But at this point, you know, my fans don't really care who publishes my book. They just want a book by Michelle Stimpson if that's what they want, you know. And so they know my brand, they know how I write, they know what they're going to find in it, and that's what they're looking for. So thankfully, like I said, I started off with a major publisher, but I'm in a position to make the transfer, so, or the transition out of that, you know, realm.
I really like how you break up this. I mean, it's almost, you just take a step by step on what to do, you know, even pre-education before you start, you know, the different blogs to check out, the books to read. I know J.A., I think his last name is Conrad's blog is very popular. A lot of people, that's the first thing they'll tell you. If you're going to go into self-publishing, read this man's blog. And so everybody talks about him.
Doing anything without reading that.
Of course, I'm listening. I stop by and listen. He has a lot of stuff, and he you know, he tells the truth, too. I like that about him, too.
Yeah.
You know, they don't glamorize it.
Right. Well, you probably should look at his stuff that's a year old or maybe a couple of years old, because he's changed. He's actually moved over. I think he's published by Amazon now. They've taken him on as a special kind of a project author. But it was interesting to watch his journey from making nothing to something that was more than he ever thought it would be. You know, and that kind of thing. So it's been kind of neat to see his growth. And then at the point when he went with a publisher, a mainstream publisher, and they messed all his books up, it was hilarious. Well, it was
I think I read that too.
It was crazy, and he took them back, so it was interesting.
Yeah, if each person's journey is different, and that's what you have to remember if you decide to go this route. That you know, just because somebody made $100,000 in 1 month doesn't mean that's what you're going to make. You know, and I think that a lot of people, they don't tell them that this is big money, but it's just like with any business, you got to work it. You know, you have to know how to get out there and market yourself and how to find the readers. You know, putting it on Facebook, I have a book out, is not going to sell books. So.
Well, and I think, too, one of the biggest things I learned from Jay Conrad's blog is, and I know people will disagree with me, but your best marketing is another good book. You need when you finish your book, you need to write another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. Because you know, when we're talking about doing things to market your books, like having free books and having 99-cent books and having sales and all that, you got to have stuff to rotate. And if you only have two things in inventory, it's kind of hard.
You have no inventory.
Right. You don't really have inventory to that's full price. And, I try to keep something on sale every week because, I have several things that are on the internet, so that are, that I've published, so I can do that. But, when you don't have any inventory, it's kind of hard to just have one thing in the shop,
And I definitely learned that with just dealing with selling Sormag ads. I had just one, and then I started creating different types of ads, stuff like that. And that's true. You do have to have an inventory of stuff because, they read that first book, then what else you want them to read? A lot of people didn't want to write the novellas, and I was like, but that helps. That's a Christmas thing you can do. Do it for different holidays. I had one friend, she refused to do it, and she wrote one. And now she's like, oh, I'm going to do one every year. And I go, good,
That's
so
hilarious.
that, it puts it out there. That's some extra money. You're trying to, you have to think of it as a business. And building your readers, you need one reader at a time, and they're gonna, like you said, if you write a good book, people are gonna talk about it, so if you continue to write more books, then that's what they're gonna talk about, and they're gonna share it. When I always ask, what's the next book I should read? And people come on my page and tell me what I should read. This is this. If I plugged the book the other day, it sounded really good. I like the cover. That's why I plugged. I was like, this cover is unique. And 5 people said they were buying it. I went and bought it. I was like, wow, I wasn't trying to sell the book. I was like, well, cool. But it just shows you how word of mouth is. You just talk about it, and it goes like that. And if you just got one book, and I have a friend, that's all she has is one book. She's never tried anything. She writes, but she hasn't wrote anything else. And so I'm like, you got to get some more stuff out there.
That's how he wants to do it, maybe. People do their own thing, and, I'm good with that. I just think it's important to, if you really want to, and there are people, and I'm running into more and more people who don't necessarily want to make a living at writing, but feel led to, share their life story or leave a legacy or whatever, for whatever reason they want to write a book. And so I'm finding a lot of people like that. And so, when I talk with them about it, this book may not be, there's the last section of the book is about marketing and all that kind of stuff. So if that's not what you want to do, then you just skip that section. But all the other things in there will be helpful to you to get an editor. And I'm working with a lady now who's publishing the book of a person who's deceased. And so, she doesn't really want to do a whole bunch of editing because the person's not there. She kind of wants it to be the way that person would, errors and all. She kind of just wants it to be a testament of who they were. And so that's not a situation where we're looking for a profit. So whatever it is that you want to do, if you decide you want to do it yourself, this book will help you. And I don't push anybody to try to be, a millionaire or whatever, but I don't want anybody to spend $2,000 to do something that, is 5 clicks of a button, to publish a book. Because a lot of times when, you're doing all this stuff and then you're paying somebody else to publish it and they're clicking literally 7 buttons for you for hundreds or thousands of dollars. And that's just, I don't know that's how we
It's a new business to get it up there and as a different way of selling what they offer. It's the book covers. It's broke down the book covers, the just the editing, and then you go to somebody was telling me, oh, I can put it up on Kindle for you. I'm like, well, I just uploaded it.
Right, I can do that myself.
Right. I had a lady. We were talking about that's the step she's doing, and she was like she had to. We were in our writers group, and she was discussing how she was setting it up, the pages up, and and she was like, it took her a whole long time, and the other lady was like, oh, it's not that simple. I got this. She had a software. And she's like, there's a software? And so I was like, oh, my God, it's just too many things, But they were like, once you do it the first time, it's going to be hard. But once you got your system in there, then bam, because they set up their they were doing a print book, and and each page had some designs on it. And I was like, oh, that is really neat how you have it set up like that. And the other lady's like, well, what? How did you do that? And she's like, oh, we got a software. We just set it up. And I was like, okay. So it's just so much stuff to know. And they were saying once it's done, then the next book will be easier. It's just as you know, the first one seems like it's so hard and, getting it out there and stuff.
Well, and it can be. And that's the thing, too. There's a certain amount of technical, not necessarily know-how at the beginning, but technical confidence, I guess, that you need to go into it with if you want to self-publish. So, I mean, if you are just not even touching computers on a daily basis and you don't do email and you don't send attachments and you don't do that kind of stuff, then, you probably need to get somebody else.
Yeah.
But, because it is a lot. To just have the confidence to go and look at a computer and go, or look at a program and go, oh, I don't know it, but I can figure it out. And, that's how anybody who's ever learned a software program has learned it.
Right. You can even take a class, but until you actually open it up and work with it, then that's how it goes,
Right. So. Exactly. Nobody is born knowing how to do any of this. So everybody has to learn it,
So what do you think, what's one question I want to ask you? What advice would you offer to someone who's decided that this is the route they want to go?
To be all in, to be just flat all in, because I'm finding, I mean, if they want to do this and make a career out of it, I'll put it that way, because some people are just, I shouldn't say just, but simply wanted to make it's a hobby, and so that's fine. But if you intend to make this your bread and butter and think of your job as your hobby, which is where I am right now, to be all in. I had a guy that read this book, and I saw him just last week at a writer's thing, and he said he quit his job. And he, after reading my book, I was like, I didn't tell you to do all that. But he said to me, Michelle, I would not have done it any other way. So he and his wife talked, and she is so behind him. And so what he said to me was, now that I'm all in and it's sink or swim, I'm writing like crazy. And I'm doing everything you said to do because, I don't have a choice. This is it. If it doesn't, we've given it a year. If it doesn't work out in a year, I'm back to the 9 to 5, and I'll be able to say, hey, I gave it my best shot. But he's like, I don't want to do that. I want this to be my thing. So I don't advise people to quit their day jobs necessarily. Right. But I will say this. When you're all in with whatever it is that you're doing, that changes your perspective on everything. And if you're in a position to be able to say, hey, you know what, we've got a little nest egg going over here, I can take off a year to get this done, then I say go for it, because your whole life is going to change when you don't have a plan B, and this is it. It changes everything. It absolutely does.
I think that's fantastic that he could do that. Some of us aren't able.
Well, and I
tell my husband that all the time. I'm going to leave and retire, take an early out in my job, and he looks at me like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "I got 10 more years before I retire," and I'm like, "I'm just you," and I understand how he feels because you're right there, you're on the tip, and you're ready. You want to do what you. I'm like, I've been wanting to write for 20 years. I said, it's just been part-time here, part-time there, and I say, I know if I do it full-time, that I'm going to do something. Like you say, you have to be all in. I don't have an advance. I don't have anybody saying, hey, this. So I just write when I feel like writing. But when this is supposed to be your money, you're going to sit there and you're going to work it. You're going to work your business.
You're going to get it done. And then, too, even if you're not in a position to quit your day job or at least go part-time maybe, to think through, okay, think of your weekends as that's it. I mean, that's what I have. And to be consistent about using that time well, because there's a biblical principle behind it that, whatever you do with a little, you'll do with a lot. So if you waste a little bit of time, that means you're going to waste a lot of time. So that person who's not, watching their time well, is, quitting is just going to be a whole bunch of watching Jerry Springer for them. So,
right.
I think too that part of the reason that I was freed up to be able to do that was developing in this understanding that what I do with a little, I will do with a lot. And if I'm faithful with the little bit of extra time that I have, then it's very possible that I'll be given more.
Well, that's a good way to look at it. I know for me, I have 50 million hats, so I'm always doing something. But I do have to schedule my writing so I can write, because I do everything else. I'm mommy, I'm wifey and sister, and and so you got so much stuff to do, and you have to find out what's important. And I have to, my family always tells me I'm in front of the computer. You're in front of the computer all the time. And I'm like, that's my livelihood.
Right. That's
when the computer dies, I'm sick. I got to go buy another computer.
Right. Well, that's another thing, too. All that stuff that we do. I mean, I was talking to a lady a couple of weeks ago. It was longer than that. It was probably a couple of months ago. And she wants to, she doesn't want to write, but she wants to do something else. I don't know what it was, some kind of business that she wanted to run. But she just didn't have the time, because she, and so we're talking about that. Well, she said she didn't have the time. So I'm talking to her like, I don't understand how you don't have time. Like her whole family is on the East Coast and we're in Texas. And she doesn't do a lot of things. She watches TV a lot, and she's not married. She doesn't have any kids, and she's not involved in church so I don't know. So I'm like, what are you doing? And so we started talking about all the TV shows that she watches, and I thought that's where your time is going right there.
Right.
I mean, how much time do we spend in front of Facebook and watching TV and dedicating whole nights to TV?
I'm very guilty of that. I think about how many years I've wasted in front of the television, but it's all about what you feel is your priorities, and,
right, exactly.
I have lived the I'm gonna life for a long time, and now I'm done with that, and you have to come to that conclusion too. We know you're done, and you're going to live your dream versus talking about it.
Yeah, that's a big thing, and you can get caught up. I've been caught up on Facebook. I need to stop. That is like my only form of it. Like I don't even watch TV. Well, I have other reasons for not watching TV, but I get a lot of stuff done, and I'm thankful that I only have Facebook as my distraction, because there could be so many more. That could be.
Facebook is good. I like Facebook.
Facebook is our friend.
It's our friend. I was going through some stuff with my dad. He's been missing for a couple of weeks, and I put a prayer request. And literally the next morning, I woke up and there was hundreds of, we're praying for you, LaShonda, and I was like, I'm like in tears. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just put it out there because I know prayer works, and I was like, I just need some more help, somebody else to pray with me, and my dad shows up at his sister's house. I was like,
yes, bless God.
I told him, I was like, people dog out Facebook, but I have been so blessed by Facebook, and I just think that it's what you put into it. You putting a lot of nasty negativity into it. Yeah, that's what you're going to get back out. And my Facebook family rocks. I have amazing, good spirited people that's on there. I'm not getting a bunch of craziness, and that's probably why I'm on there all the time, because I'm getting knowledge. A lot of people sharing wisdom, people sharing different things about writing and books and stuff. I love it, and I'm not getting a whole bunch of craziness. And I think a lot of other people feel the same way, and that's why we get stuck on there sometimes.
Yeah, I think you're right. You're right. You got to watch. Every once in a while, I'll get a Facebook request, and it's somebody that posts things that, I don't agree with, so I'll just hide them. But it doesn't happen.
Right. I just unfriend them and keep it moving, But most of the time, most of the people that I have on are very positive and want to share and want to help. And I just got so many different posts outside of, once I found out what was going on with my dad. And I was like, wow, this one, she sent me a whole bunch of information. She's not even in St. Louis where I'm at. She knew somebody who lived in St. Louis. She contacted a lady. The lady contacted me. I was like, now that's what you talking about, some networking.
Wow.
And she didn't have to do that. She wasn't a writer.
Yeah.
This is somebody, just one of my Facebook friends, and so
that was sweet.
I was like, that was really nice. So I have good things about Facebook. People have some horrible stories, but most of my stuff has been really good. So I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, that's sweet. That's good stuff. It can be nice.
It can sometimes. Do you have any advice for promoting your ebook?
I do, actually. I'm learning a lot of things. It's funny because I didn't really for real start promoting until about this time last year. Mm-hmm. And it was Vanessa Miller, who is also a Christian fiction. Well, she writes for a publisher as well as she writes novellas, I think, for herself. Mm-hmm. I know she writes novellas for herself. I don't think she's written any full-length novels self-published because those go to her publishers, I think. Anyway, we were talking, and I said to her, we got to start, collaborating on what works and what doesn't work when it comes to promoting books in our genre, because every genre is a little bit different.
Right.
And so she and I just started sharing notes and talking through different things, and she said to me that she had used a company called BookBub to do an ad. And so I thought, okay, so then I used it, and I was like, hey, that worked out really well. So then we just started kind of sharing different companies that we've used and used well, and said, okay, we'll do this one, but don't ever do it on a holiday. Do this one, but okay, don't do it on Sundays, because So I mean, it's just different things. And so in the back of my 21-day publishing plan, I have lists of places to post your book by how much your book is going to be. So when your book first comes out, and maybe it's not on sale, maybe it's the full price or whatever, here are the places to post your book when it's on sale. And then when it's full price. And then
you have a bunch on here, too. A bunch of them.
Yeah. Here are places to post when your book is going to be 99 cents. Here are places to post when your book is going to be absolutely free. And then how much those places cost at the time of publication. One of them has since changed since I published it. But just so that you can get an idea of, okay, how do I schedule this? Now, what I didn't put in the book, which I still don't know, and the only reason I'm not in there is because I don't know it yet, is, at what point do you go, okay, let's go 99 cents. Okay, well, let's go free right now. I don't know if that's 90 days out, or if there's a way to say when it should be on sale, because if it's working and it's selling and it's full price, I wouldn't put it on sale.
Right.
But
right.
I don't know the parameters just yet. I haven't got that part down to a science yet, but I do know.
I just really
which
think it
I
depends on the book, and like for somebody that's new and you're trying to build up your readership, then the 99 cent probably would be good, because somebody doesn't want to really invest, $6.99 in somebody they don't know. But as a person who's seasoned in this thing, I don't really think the 99 cents. Your reader will probably be excited about it, but if they know your book is coming out, they're going to pay the price,
Right.
And now they have the pre-orders, and I've seen that has been working well for a lot of authors. And so, the pre-orders are really great. But for somebody new, I always say to I'll use a person she just did, her Piper Hughley. She did a novella first. It's her first book, and she writes historical. She did a novella first and put it out for 99 cents and put it out there, and it did really well. And then when her book came out, people knew who she was. They were willing to take a chance on buying a book. And so I thought that was a good way to do it for somebody that's new, to have maybe a sample and then do it like that. If you're new, the 99 cent is going to be hard for you, because you're not going to make a lot of money on it unless it sells really well. But I tell people, with your first book is finding your readers. Trying to introduce yourself to them. So the 99 cent, I guess, would be okay with that. But you have to maybe have a second book ready to go for the regular prices. And a lot of people don't, so that's why they have a hard time. So I thought that concept she had was good, to have a novella first, and that will introduce your voice to the reader, and then your book, and then people will go, oh, okay, I'm not going to, I'm paying $6.99, I don't know her, no, that's just how people are. But the novella was like, whet your appetite, and you go, oh, okay, and then she put the book out, a couple of months later. So that worked really well, and I thought that was a good concept for a new person. Yeah, when you have your readership, you can do whatever you want. Like you said, you do sales, once a month, you got something going on, and I highly recommend that to people to, do their sales, to have something different. You know, some people, when they have a whole bunch of books, they only promote the newest book. And I'm like, you know, especially when you're trying to introduce yourself, you know, introduce all your books. You know, promote them. Right. It's 12 months in a year. You can do a promotion for each book. And, you know, and this is the Sormag promoting person, but I'm just saying, you know, to get yourself out there, people don't do that. They go, oh, I got this one book, you know, and I did a promotion on series. If you have a series of books, then, yeah, promote that whole series so people know. Definitely. People love series, and if you put it in order, then they know what to get. I was just telling somebody I was reading The Outlander, and that's an old book, but it's something that I have always wanted to read, so I started reading it, and then I went back to look at it. I'm like, gosh, she got about 9 or 10 books, wow. You know, but that's, you know, it's a bunch of people that have stuff like that, and they, you know, their books, my books are 10 to 15 years old. Who cares? Books don't have a deadline on them. You know, they don't expire, so talk about them. You know, people don't care. Right, that's how you do your promotions, but it's, you know, people say it's not that hard to promote yourself. You just have to, you got to make an effort and do it. If you want to do free stuff, then you got to get out there and work it.
Yeah. Well, I think too. I think you're right. I think promotion for ebooks especially has gotten easier. Mm-hmm. In my view, it's gotten easier because in the past, before we were in this ebook world, you know, there was a lot of physical stuff to do, as in get on a plane and go. You know. Right. But because ebooks have changed how people buy books in so many ways, a lot of it is a matter of coordinating the free schedule with the company that you're going to use to send out the e-blast. And that's a matter of, you know, paperwork at some level. Right. So, you know, that part of it, for me, and as a writer, and so many of us are kind of recluses anyway, that makes us happy. Right. It does. I have so many book signings, and you just go, and then there's like maybe your mom might come. But you just feel like you're like a salesperson, like going, hi, buy my book, you know, and you feel like you're bothering people and all that kind of stuff. I do. I don't know. I can't speak for other authors, but I've felt like, I mean, I don't mind going to a conference like where there's going to be people who are book lovers, and so they're there. But there's a lot of times when you do things and the people are really there just, you know, they're there to hear a certain guest speaker and and they'll buy that person's book, but they're not really there to, you know, because they love books and they're there to get a good story. So the idea of how marketing has changed to a lot of electronic things has been very exciting to me as a person who is not burned out on a whole bunch of traveling, but it's like, okay, traveling is fun, but I'm not that big on it anymore. I used to really be excited about getting on planes, but I'm not anymore.
And you have to lug all these books with you. I go to a lot of events, and I say I always wonder, do people get mad at me because I don't buy books when I go there? Because I don't buy books anymore. Everything I do is electronically. And so I'll go there and I'll find somebody, and then I go to my room and download their book. They probably don't know that, but, you know, I say I hear a lot of authors complaining because they go to the events, they pay for a booth, and they don't sell any books. And I go, but how do you know you didn't sell any books? You know, somebody probably stopped by and they got their iPad with them and they go, oh, okay, I want this, I want this, I want that, and they buying it, you know. So I guess you have to go back home and look at your records and see if anybody that is buying anything online. But it's you know, it costs money to have an extra luggage to take all this stuff back home, and so a lot of people don't want to do and you don't want to do that. The last conference I went to, I had so much books. I was praying that they did not charge me any extra because my bag was so heavy. And I'm going, I don't even know how I'm going to pick it up to put it into my car. You know, because people were giving me books, and and I was like, oh, please stop giving me books. You know, send me a PDF. They were trying to get rid of their books, so they were trying to give them to me to take with me. I'm like, oh my God, these ladies. Right. So, you know, I feel sorry for people when they say that. They go, I spent so much on this booth and nobody bought any books. And I was talking to ladies, and I go, you all need to, pitch the e-books. I said, because a lot of people aren't buying books. And when you come over there and talk to me, ask them, do you buy books or you buy e-books? Then you know where you stand at. And a lot of people aren't buying books. They don't want to carry the stuff home with them. So
Right. And my husband's like, don't buy it anymore. My husband is done with me buying books. He's just like,
I get a big lecture every time I go somewhere. And I feel so bad because, people, they're like, you're a store man, you're going to buy my book. And I'm going, I can't buy books.
Yeah, my husband doesn't let me buy books.
Look, I was telling somebody the other day, he threatened that when I went to see my sister for the weekend, he goes, why you going? You might not come back to any books. I'm like, what? I'm going to have a bonfire and put all your books in the bonfire. I'm like, no, don't do that.
I have literally used up all my space. Okay, if I buy a whole bunch of more books, I'm going to need like another bookcase. And I don't have another place to put the books.
So, I'm like that too. I need bookcases. That mine is just in boxes and boxes. My whole basement is full of books and boxes.
Oh my goodness!
And I go, if you had me a library, I wouldn't have to go through all this.
Oh,
so that's my goal for 2015 is I'm going to turn my front room into a library. We don't use it anyway, so I said I'm gonna put some shelves up. Finally, put some shelves up so I can put my books out before my husband takes those books and creates a bonfire. I'm like, dude,
now, are you gonna put them in alphabetical order?
Oh, don't even go there.
I'm just asking. Like, I have people who I have friends who have libraries and their books are actually in alphabetical order.
Oh my God! When I used to have little bookshelves, I knew exactly which books were, and I would know when somebody was in my books. I'm like, what? And so I don't want to go that deep anymore, but I don't know. I probably will. So you can find them. They have to be in alphabetical order so you know which one.
I know my books by their spines. I have a pictorial memory, so I know my books by their spines. I'll never forget. I was working at this one place, and it was a book of English language arts. I mean, a job with lots of English language arts people who had been English teachers and that kind of thing, and a couple of librarians. So I go to their offices, like I have my books on my shelf in my office, and I go to their office and like I took a book off the shelf and I put it back, and they were like, that wasn't the right order. I was like, there's an order? And they were like, yeah. I was like, well, what is the order? Like, alphabetical. It shocked me.
These are people with true libraries.
Who does that? But yeah.
Look, I'm over here thinking, oh no, I wouldn't put it in alphabetical. I guess it would be alphabetical, but it'd be by the author's name. So yeah.
Well, yeah, it's by the author's name. That's what I'm saying. Like they had a system, and then like she had like my professional books are over here in alphabetical order by author, and then my fiction books are over here in alphabetical order by author. Like she has categories and stuff. So like that.
I ain't that
just messed me up that they even had an order. I have no order for my books. It's by size. But
you know if your book is missing. That's the whole point.
No, I don't.
And see, so somebody can come and rip you off. You won't know for years. You go over there and go, what the heck?
Yeah, I probably would. Because here's the thing, like I wouldn't know to look for a book by the author. If I'm looking for anything, it's by the title.
Mhm. So, and that's how I do with I'm like that with my movies. And my husband just goes in there and plucks them out, and then he don't put them back in order. And then we end up buying the same movie again because we thought we didn't have it. It's because he took it out the shelf. I've got like 3 movies or something, and I'm going, dude, stop taking the movies off the shelf so we know what we have. But he don't care. So.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. I have to put that one on Facebook. Do you put yours in order? Look, some people are really deep. They got their stuff in Goodreads like that. And I was like, I can't even tell you which book I read this year, so I'm not that picky with that. It's still on my Kindle, so that must mean I read it or I'm about to read it.
Yeah, that's what it means. It's there. It exists. And I can search for a keyword on my Kindle. Like,
that's how I do, like that.
Yeah, then I'll find it because it's not going to be by color or sign.
This new Kindles don't do. They used to have in the old ones. It had you could set your books up by categories, and you could create categories. And so I did that for sets of books. Like for my nonfiction, I put all my nonfiction, and so I could go into that group and find all the nonfiction stuff. But I don't think the HD one does that. I have not seen nothing that says you can do that. And that's what I missed that part because I have a lot of nonfiction stuff, and if you don't remember the title, then you got to search through it and stuff.
Right. And see, I read more nonfiction than I read fiction.
Most of my stuff is nonfiction too. So.
Okay. I don't feel so bad. I was at the post office before I called you. And a lady who's a reader, she said she was asking me all these titles of these fiction. Now I do read fiction books. I probably read more fiction than the average person, but in terms of what I read mostly nonfiction. And so I said that to her. I was like, I haven't read that. I read mostly nonfiction. She was like, shame on you. But I don't. I just don't. I like fiction. I do read it, but I
read a lot of fiction, but I like most of the stuff that I get from like the freebies from Kindle is most of the times of nonfiction. I find different things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, stuff like that. Okay. But most of the time, if I buy nonfiction, I want it in hardback. So.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
you want
to
do the real stuff where you want to write it and stuff. Okay. I get you.
Yeah.
I understand.
Well, I have enjoyed this conversation. I done went over my time, but that's okay.
Is there anything else that you really wanted to ask that I didn't answer, and I apologize
no,
if
you
I haven't answered
everything.
the ones you haven't.
We didn't even go through my questions at all. We just, because we hit them, so that was even better.
Okay.
Nice and
that's
smooth
good.
And really good. So tell us where we can find you online. Certainly.
My website is MichelleStimpson.com, MichelleStimpson.com is my website, and I'm also on Facebook. Just look for Michelle Stimpson. There are going to be 3, I think, Michelle Stimpsons, and I'm the only African-American one at this time. So
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yes, I have found my namesakes, and I have actually communicated with them. So it's kind of fun. One is a realtor and one is a life coach. So.
Oh, okay. I always look up for LaShondas. I have not found a LaShonda Hoffman, but I've found a whole bunch of LaShondas, and I'm still the number one people. LaShonda. Nobody's older than me, so yay. So I had the name first. But yes, what is your current book? What's out online so we can look up?
Well, Mama B number 5, Mama B, A Time for War, was supposed to come out today. But what had happened was I sent the cover to 2 of my friends so that they can look at it and tell me their thoughts. And they both were like, that's a mess. What is that? That's watercolor. I see the oxymoron. I was like, there is no oxymoron. Yes, there is. Okay, I didn't mean for that to happen. So then I told them they were just wrong, and they were like, no, you wrong for that book cover. So now I have to go back and rewrite, because all the books in the series have a flower on the cover, but this is called A Time for War. So they're like, we need a flower with a thorn on it or something.
Oh, okay.
Your flowers are too happy. So, yeah. Now
they're
they made me go back.
They're looking at it from a reader's point of view, so that's good.
Yes,
and the good thing is, instead of putting it out there, instead of you ask for, tips, so they helped instead of you putting it out there and they dogging you out afterwards.
Well, that's what had happened. So,
and I know a couple of people put their books out there and they said the people told them they hated the cover, so then they got to take it back and revise it and put it out again. I'm like, that's just too confusing.
It happens, and that has happened with Mama B. The first 3 books didn't really have a good feel to them, so Mama B has been through a lot of changes. So anyway, this is book 5, so it'll come out this week. How about that?
Okay, that's good. Yeah, Mama B is very famous.
She's growing on me. This is my first series, and so I don't really read series because like when I'm finished with the book, I'm finished with it. But people are like, well, what about this? What about that? I'm like, oh my gosh. So then I keep writing it. And because they're novellas, and I'm getting kind of spoiled on novellas because they're quick and easy, I can do them, and I can do them pretty quickly. So I don't know.
How long it take you to write one?
When I'm seriously writing, if I really sat down and just did it would probably take me a week.
Wow.
To write the first. Wow. I mean, it's 30,000 words, so that's 4,000 words a day roughly.
Wow, that's a lot of writing, 4,000 a day. Yeah. The highest I've ever wrote was 2,000. I was, hey.
Oh, okay. Well.
You work too? You work too?
I do now. I started this, and it's so funny because I don't know why I'm working, but I have I've always done consulting. I never stopped consulting. Even when I quit my full-time job, I still was consulting with schools and working with schools and that kind of thing. So my daughter finished college. My daughter's away at college. My son is away at the Army, and it's just kind of me and the dog. So I thought, well, I do have some free time. I mean, I generally write 2,000 words a day. If I just had to crank it out, I could do 4,000. But I generally write 2,000 words a day, and that does not take me very long, thankfully. And so there's all these extra hours in my day. So I thought I could work part-time. So I called my former employer and said, if something comes up and it's part-time, it's not far from my house, and it's really flexible, let me know. Well, something came up just like that.
Oh, okay.
So the contract runs from September 1st of this year through June 30th of next year. So at the end of June of next year, I will know if I am fit for employment again. And I will make some decisions about whether or not I want to continue to work full-time because my writing has suffered since I've been working for the past month and a half. So we'll just have to see what the Lord has in store. I think I can do them both. I need to be more concise about how I allocate my time.
Right. I just a little more time management.
Yeah.
Before I get off of here, I want to ask you about you offered a class I think it was it beginning of the year or something like that, a workshop.
Several of them,
I was mad because I missed that post. So I was like, everybody was talking about it after the fact. I was like, I missed the post. What am I not on? I was heartbroken because everybody I know was on it except me. So I said, are you going to teach any more classes?
I don't have any plans for 2014. I'm teaching a class right now at my local university, and that's going to be it for the year.
Oh, okay.
But I'll have to try to make sure I keep you in the loop on my other ones because I do.
Did you tape it? Or was it just live?
No, it was live because.
Oh, okay. I know all my Christian writer friends were all in, and I was like, how come nobody even passed this on to me? What was
nobody even told you? Nobody called you.
I'm on your Facebook page. I'm always stalking it. What the heck?
I apologize.
I miss it. But everybody was talking about how great it was, and I was like, "Oh, minion!"
Oh, well, we have a lot of fun in those classes, so I'll have to try to keep you in the loop, definitely. But I just do them every now and then as time allows, as I feel led to do them. So I will try to keep you in the loop, lady.
Yeah, so that's good. I also was very helpful with the podcast on the marriage because marriage is lovely.
It can be, and there are the days. How long did you get married?
I will be married 18 years in November.
Yay. Okay, now did you say that you like to get out a lot and your husband doesn't?
Yeah, my husband is a homebody and I am the busybody. I love getting out doing things. As a matter of fact, I'm going to a reader's retreat this weekend, and I rented a hotel room because it's a little farther, probably about 45 minutes from my house. And so I told him and the kids, I said, y'all can stay at the hotel. He's like, well, what are we going to do there? I said, I don't know, whatever y'all want to do, but I'm not going to care. So I don't know if he's going to go or not because he's like, what? I said, I'm going to be gone. I just got the hotel so I wouldn't have to drive back home, to sleep. Yeah. And I said, well, y'all could be up in the room and chill and do whatever y'all want. He's
right. Do y'all thing.
Yeah, he's like, he's looking at me like, Oh,
that's
so
funny.
We will see. I think it's neat when people say when their husband. I have a couple of writer friends. Their husband goes with them, and I'm like, mine's like, I already know what I'm gonna be doing. You're gonna be busy and running around, and he says it's gonna be just like the weddings. I used to take him to weddings all the time, and he goes, I'm sitting in a chair, and you're over there taking pictures with everybody but me.
Now you know good and well he's not gonna enjoy himself at a wedding. What were you doing?
Well, if he acts right, you're supposed to be mingling together and dancing and stuff like that. No, that is not how. That was how I went in my head. But once you get there, it's like, no, it don't go that way. I went to the last one. They go, where's your husband? Everybody had their husband but me. I'm like, yeah, right. And they all were sitting at the table while their wives was at the dance floor and taking pictures and stuff. And I go, my husband was right.
We're dragging him out.
I would have been sitting at the table by myself while you and your coworkers are having a good time. I'm like, okay, I give up.
We'll have to let him have it. We'll have to let him have that one. But
yeah, so I do. I
enjoy
said some stuff you can fight for and some stuff you don't,
Right.
And I go, that's my friends. I told them, I said, well, at least he says I can go places. So, some husbands have a heart attack on that one. So.
Right, you're right. And that's a good match for you two to have, the homebody and the person who goes, as long as you both respect that, you're both different people and nobody gets resentful, just be you. You knew that. You knew that when you married him, I'm sure.
Right. I told him that. I said, what happens when I become this best-selling author? How are you going to handle that? He goes, we'll see.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Whatever. I still keep him. I always tell him, one more year. I got you one more year. So,
Yeah,
I didn't think we'd make it to 18 years, so we doing pretty good. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Y'all about to hit the 20 in a minute.
When I think about different things that we've been through, I go, wow, how did we survive that? But it's nice to know that people don't realize marriage is hard, and you work at it. A lot of people think that, it's going to be easy. No. I
don't think they have an idea of what we mean by marriage is hard, though.
That it takes work. It's not something that you just you go in there and you have to get out of the me mentality. Wow, that was very hard for me because I didn't get married till I was 28. So I had been single a long time, and I like being single. And so it's hard to I have some friends that were getting married, and I told them, I said, my advice is to keep the communication open because we just assume. I said, don't assume, ask, and I said, and date night. Nobody told me about date night, that you still have to date your husband. And mine gets mad at me sometimes, but I tell them, we need to spend quality time together. I said, what happens, my worst fear is that a lot of people that I know, once their kids leave the nest, they get a divorce. And that was my scariest feeling for us because I was like, our kids is our life. What happens after our kids leave, So I started making them. We had, my husband works nights, so I make him do. We had lunch dates, and he would try to back out of it. And I would go, bring your own little stuff up here, and we going to lunch. We can't afford that. We can't. I was like, dude, we can go to McDonald's. It doesn't have to be fancy. Just spend some quality time together,
Right.
The other day we went to he says, he wanted to go see Denzel's movie. Now, usually I'm the person that says I want to go to the movies. And he said, I want to go to the movies. I'm like, you asking me out on a date? He's like,
all right now.
Yes. I was like, who are you? What is going on? So we went to the movies, and the kids were freaking out because they wanted to see the movie too. But he was like, no, me and my wife was going to the movies. I was like, all right. So, right. I was like, yay.
Oh, cute. That's cute. You're right. We're at that stage because our kids everybody's gone now. So it was kind of like, what are we supposed to be doing here? And we went to see we went to the drive-in movie about 2 weeks ago. And I liked the movie, but it wasn't the same without being able to say, hey, who wants popcorn? Because it's just the two of us.
You're so used to it, right. You don't even know what kind of conversation to have. You're like, okay, who is this person?
Just like, okay. And I did go through kind of a bit of a depression because it was like, oh, dang, it's just me and you.
A friend of mine, she told me that's what happened to her husband, and she goes, because I said, it's scary for me because I don't know what's going to happen, and she said her husband told her that she was just busy doing stuff because that was her life, and so he told her, put me on your schedule, and she said, what? He's like, put me on the schedule, pick a day and put me on the schedule so we could spend some time together, and so she said she started putting him on her schedule, and she said if he hadn't have said that, we probably would have ended up divorced because I was going on with my life and forgot about that I had a husband.
Right. You do stay in that rut. So you'll be fine, though. Y'all will make it on. So y'all be good.
Yeah, I guess I'm actually looking forward to them leaving because I'm like, we went right into having kids, so we haven't had any quality time together. So I'm like, yeah, go ahead and go.
Yeah.
So me and the hubby can go on, but we can do romantic outings somewhere or something,
Right. Now, how old are your kids?
I have 3 kids. I have 2 that's in high school right now, freshman and a junior. But the problem is I have a 7-year-old. So it's
not a problem. Don't call him that.
He's not the problem. It's his age. He's 7, so it's going to be forever by the time he leaves here.
He said forever.
We're going to be old and gray.
It'll go fast. And you don't want to.
The other two, it went really fast. And he told me he wasn't leaving, so I don't know. He said, Mom, I'm staying forever. I'm going to take care of you and Daddy. I said, okay.
Oh, that's so cute. But, actually, now that all our kids are gone, I'm like, it did go by fast. I wish it had slowed down so I could have really, and I enjoyed it.
And that's what I'm doing with him. I'm trying to savor the, he's 7, enjoy 7, enjoy it. I listen to him, because them other two, it went by so fast. My baby will be graduating next year, and I'm going, wow. Well, no, what is this? She'll graduate 2016, and I'm like, oh my God, I am not ready. And all she talks about, when I leave, I'm ready. I'm getting out of here. I'm like,
that's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
And I'm going, you just don't have a clue. I keep telling her she's so eager to get a job and work and stuff, and I said, let Mama and Daddy take care of you as long as they can, because when you start on your own, that's it. I said, being an adult sucks.
Oh, you told her that. Don't tell her that.
And she goes, people need to know that. They don't tell you these things. Being an adult.
I don't think being an adult sucks. I think it's like the best thing ever. I love being a grown-up.
I like being a grown-up, and it was just me. But when you become responsible for somebody, it's a whole different ball game, So
okay, well,
that's why I told her, being an adult as a single person was fantastic. I enjoyed it. When you become a mama, it's a whole different thing. You have to decide what's right and what's wrong and what you can't do and what you can do. Some people never do, but some people.
That's why I'm thinking, like, wait a minute, maybe I enjoyed it because I didn't make those decisions.
I'm going to buy this purse. I'm going to buy you some shoes.
Oh, my gosh. That's hilarious. I was just thinking about that today at church. I'm like, because as a believer, I hear people saying, it's just so hard to live the Christian life. And I honestly think to myself, what are y'all doing? Like, why is it so hard? I don't understand. Like, don't you want to do
much sinning?
I mean, like, don't you want the best thing to happen in your life? And that's generally what God says. So why don't you want to do that? I don't get it. So, but when I became a Christian at 25, so I understand exactly what you mean. People tell you so much stuff that you give up. Oh, you give up this, you give up that, and and you actually don't. You just make your life a little more better, Right.
And I think that people don't see it like that. They make it so hard that you don't want to be a Christian because you're going, oh, my God. I love to dance, and that was the first thing people told me. Well, you ain't going to be at a club.
Who says?
And I said, what? Because I don't drink. So all I did when I went to a club, I just drank. I just drank. I just danced. And so I was like, what? I can't dance no more. And then when you start, I said, the whole point of is not doing the sin that comes with stuff,
Right.
And so I was like, oh, okay. Sometimes my sisters will have a party at a club or something, and I go there, and somebody will say to me, you at the club? I'm like, yeah, what? It's just a club. It's what you do inside the club that matters.
All kinds of levels. Because for my 40th birthday party, my husband threw me a party. My husband DJs part-time, so he's got all the latest music, and I'm telling you, I danced all night. Anybody who was at my party will tell you, I danced the entire night. Now, I don't drink either. I never drank. But, I mean, I like to dance. I
love to dance. I dance in my house. I put my music on. I dance to Christian music. So, okay. Put me some Mary on. I'm in there. So, I think that people that say that, I don't listen to those type of music. I just listen to this. And I just think it's all about what you put in your spirit, Some people can't read romances because it's just too hot, And I go, well, what are you doing after you read that book? To each his own, So, I don't know.
God convicts us on what we need. But I'm with you. I'm like, look, I done tried a lot of stuff my way, and it didn't work out. So I think this probably is the best way right here. Why don't we just stick to the plan? And it is good. It is good. So I want to tell you, don't tell your baby life is going to be hard because it's not. It's going to be.
No, I don't say it's hard. I just say, it's not what you think it's going to be. It sucks being grown up sometimes. It does, and that's when I tell her that she need to get her life together. Make sure you got your education. Make sure you're doing the stuff that you want to do, because if not, it will suck.
Oh yeah, it is.
And she'd be looking at me like, yeah, Mama, really?
Yes.
So, okay, I'm gonna get off this podcast because we talked about
all right, lady.
I forgot I was on it.
Well, good talking to you. Finally.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Let me close it out and then we can get off.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Michelle, for being our guest today. I really enjoyed it. It was such a treat talking to you. Thank you for listening to today's podcast. Please let me know what you think of the podcast. Send an email to onesormag@gmail.com. I'm also open for podcast suggestions. Let me know what you want to listen to on upcoming podcasts. If you enjoyed this podcast, sign up for our mailing list so you don't miss an episode. This is LaShonda Hoffman, and this is the Writers Cafe, where you stop in for a little fun and knowledge about the writing life. This is LaShonda Hoffman. This podcast was taped in 2014, I think, and I thought I lost it when my computer crashed, and I found it, and I'm just so excited to be able to share it. And I'm sharing the whole entirety because I wanted you all just to get a feel of what it's like to be a writer in our lives, with being mommy and being a wife. And so I decided not to cut it and just share what me and Michelle talked about on the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it.